Hello, everyone. Hello, hello, hello. Oh my gosh. I feel like I'm always saying, oh my gosh, when I jump on these lives. But man, my heart was calling me to jump on because we are not doing this alone, and we are actually doing something here. We are actually energetically doing something here. And I want to talk about it. I want to talk about what we are experiencing from an energetic lens, in case you are feeling like you are losing your mind, or that something is wrong with you. The greatest gift that we give ourselves is incarnating onto a planetary system like this in a physical body where we get to experience life through this lens of physicality. We get to have all these emotions, blah, 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 behaviors, all kinds of stuff. And the most difficult thing that we gift ourselves is the exact same thing, this human experience. And remembering and recognizing that not only are we down here on a physical plane, on a physical body, in physicality, as consciousness, as God, as soul, but we're also evolving. So there is a constant shift happening all day long, every day. And the more that you become aware of this shift, okay, this energetic shift, the more intense it can become, the more intense it may feel for you. One of the things that you're going to realize or experience perhaps also is that the more courageous you are in standing in this smorgasbord of quantum field where every emotion is available in every moment, the more you will realize that it could be this constant up and down, in and out roller coaster ride of emotion, of feeling states. And we live on a planet, we live in a programmed culture or world where the only way that we feel safe is if we're in control. And so we believe, we have this idea, we've been taught that if we can control emotional states, we're safe. And what many of you may be recognizing, feeling, or you will start to recognize and feel is that you cannot control emotional states. And because that's like saying that you can control energy. Now, you can shift energy shifts, but you can't change it, which means that when it's moving through the body, you have to allow it to move through the body. And you shift it, i.e., allow it to move, it shifts, right? By acknowledging it. It's that simple. And it's the most I believe it is the most courageous thing that we can experience right now, is feeling. And what's been happening and what I've been tapping into right now for a lot of us, and I just did a reel on this, and it's why I'm coming on right now, is that there are these surges of emotion that are perhaps popping into your world and then going away. But these surges are so intense when they come in. These surges of emotion are so freaking intense. And it knocks you off your feet. However, because you have been sort of training in this energetic world as this warrior of light, right? You've been feeling a lot, and you're continuing to feel. And what I've been talking about for the last couple of years is all about feeling, because the one thing that you cannot get out of as you start to evolve into higher states of consciousness, call it whatever you want, you cannot get away from feeling. You cannot get away from changing feeling. And so you have to be able to courageously be in whatever feeling is arising, knowing it's not you, and knowing that it is part of the evolution of the consciousness that we are standing in. This huge global planetary consciousness that's shifting. Shifting meaning going from one state of frequency to another state of frequency. And so the body is always the vessel that is taking us there to these new states of being, these higher states of being. And the only way that that happens is by the density of the physical body increasing or expanding, becoming less dense. And the way that it becomes less dense is that the energies stuck in the body, the emotions stuck in the body, release. And any emotion, any energy that comes from the external world that is moving into the body as an emotion, it has to simply just be expressed, i.e. felt. And so the key is to start to remember again and again and again, which is why I'm here right now, just reminding you that everything is happening inside the body. My body is so sore right now. My body is so tight, right? My back, it's like, oh my God, I'm grateful for yoga, but even yoga doesn't help right now. You know, it's sweating, even the sweating that I do, it feels good, but then it's like the body comes back to this like tight, restrictive state right now because there's so much movement. There's so much energy breaking up, right? There's so much emotion breaking up in the body. And it's like these spurts, these surges, boom, boom. All of a sudden, like this massive amount of grief comes in, or this massive amount of sadness or confusion, or I don't know what I'm doing in my life. I don't know where to go. I don't have any control over anything, right? It just comes in out of nowhere, and it's so intense. It literally feels like the absolute truth, and there's nothing else available, and nothing else is real, and nothing else is true. And what you have been practicing is to be able to be in that and to recognize that it is just that moment, and it is going to pass, and you just have to stay present. And you have to put one foot in front of the other, because you are not in charge of this shift in consciousness. You're not. And the more that we think we are in charge, we being the part of us that has been doing life, the egoic personality persona that has been doing life and making choices and you know, creating this and manifesting this and getting rid of this relationship and moving into this new job. That part of us is the part of us that wants to be in control. And the hardest part of this evolutionary shift in consciousness that you're in, that you chose to be in, that you're in, that you can't get out of, is that you cannot control it. You can't control it. And if you are continuing to find yourself wanting to be, you hear the crow? The crow's saying, she's right, listen to her. She's right, listen to her. The more that you can remember that this, I love it when birds communicate, when nature communicates with us. The more that you can realize, remember, recognize. I feel like this crow wants to talk to us. I don't know where it is. The more you can remember, dude, I'm trying to communicate to these people. Why you keep butting in? Wherever you are. I don't even see it. Oh, there it is on the grass. I swear he's talking to us. It's a remembrance, like what you're going through, what you're experiencing, what you are in, what you are moving through every single day. I wish the crow was sitting right here and we could literally have conversation with the crow. Every single day your soul, your spirit is trying to remind you. God as you is trying to remind you of what you're doing. It's so intense. Because we have this idea that we have to fix ourselves, that there's something wrong with you. And that you better go, figure out what to do so that you can be a better person, a more healed person, a more positive person, whatever it is. And there's nothing wrong with you. This is the craziest part of this space that we're in right now on the planet. There's nothing wrong with you. That would be like saying, you're watching a river flow, and it starts to go into a different direction because there's all these boulders that it's running up against, right? And so the water's coming in, and all of a sudden the water has to take a different route naturally because there's all these boulders. And so it just goes around the boulder and keeps going. It would be like me saying those boulders aren't supposed to be there. Why are those boulders there? That's we have to figure out how to get rid of the boulders so that the water can just flow naturally straight through. It's like, no, the boulders are there. It's just there. Emotions are just coming up right now and diverging you into a different direction, perhaps. Feeling something different, seeing something different, feeling the same things. Oh, there's more boulders. Here we go again. We're going to move to the right. We're going to move to the left. I don't know. But your job isn't to go into the river, pull the boulders out, and effort, so that there's a peaceful flow of the river. The river will never be looking peaceful. The river's always peaceful. Its natural state is calm. Its natural state is peace. Your natural state of being is calm and peaceful. It doesn't need boulders to be there or not be there in order to be calm and peaceful. You don't need to rearrange what's happening in your life in order to be in that state. The way that you are in that state more and more is that you simply start allowing what is. That's the hardest thing. That there are no mistakes. The hardest thing for us to sit with. Yes, you're making choices. Yes, you're saying no to things and yes to things. Yes, you're walking away from relationships. You're walking into relationships, walking away from jobs, walking into jobs. Yes, you are taking action in life. 100%. But you're also realizing that you don't need to change, right? That you don't need to change what's arising within you in order to be a better person. You just don't. This is a evolutionary shift in consciousness and energy that is so much bigger than the really small little I that is always trying to be in control. And so what's happening to you and I right now, what's occurring for us is a letting go of control. Literally. You're releasing control more and more. And when you release control more and more, you move into more of a flow state. Flow state is not always fun. Flow state is not always easy. Flow state is not some like blissful, enlightened, See, the crow even believes me. It's not like, all is so beautiful and well. Flow state is fucking rocky as shit. Flow state is chaotic at times. Flow state is feeling one thing and then feeling, you tell me, you look at a river and you tell me the river looks calm. It's peaceful, right? But it's not always calm. It's doing all kinds of stuff. There are moments where it just goes, and there are moments where it's rocky and it's class 5 rapids. And then there's moments where it's just chill. Welcome to the flow of life. We have this idea that life, the external world, has to be calm. It has to be high vibe the whole time. Are you fucking kidding me? High vibe the whole time? Have you lost your fucking mind? Do you know what you're in right now? This is about understanding that nothing needs to change in the external world to be high vibe. Nothing. The only thing that needs to change is that you need to be in life, recognizing that you're not what this life is gifting you or showing you or allowing you to feel. You're not it. You're beyond it. You're bigger than it. You're this spirit, this light, this God, whatever you want to call it. You're experiencing this river of life. And if we're constantly trying to convince ourselves that it needs to be super calm without rapids, what the hell are you going to do when rapids come? Which is part of life. It doesn't matter what vibration your vibration is at, what frequency you're at. Life's still life on this planet. Rapids will still come. This is about how you are being in the flow of life. How you're being in it. It's a whole other game when you start realizing, holy shit. My whole life I've been programmed to change the flow of the river. To try to stay in control of the way the river's going. And that is a huge amount of efforting and suffering. Even manifestation. Even manifestation. I was laying in bed this morning and I had a surge of emotion that was just intense. Oh my God, it was intense. And I thought, wow, I'm finding myself in a deep state of suffering. And I asked myself, why? Because I'm trying to create things in my life. I'm trying to go towards things in my life that are creating a state of suffering for me because I'm not present. There is such a freedom in just being present. To me, what I noticed this morning was like, wow, the more I'm trying to get somewhere, the more I'm trying to go somewhere, the more I'm trying to aim at something. For me personally, the more I find myself in a state of suffering. It doesn't invigorate me. It doesn't make me feel alive. It makes me feel like I'm trying to get somewhere and there's something wrong with where I'm at. And 99.9% of people, they need that focus. That's what gets them, to the next direction and the next direction and the next direction. But for me, when I energetically tap into that, it's suffering because it's trying to get out of what I'm in. And for me, there is a deeper sense of peace in life when I know that no matter what I'm in, it's always moving. It's always moving. And I'm not stuck in anything. And what's most important for me right now is to find myself in a state of calm or peace, regardless of what I'm in, and recognizing what's creating the suffering. What's creating the suffering? And most of the time, if you pay attention right now, you'll notice that what's creating this suffering, this resistance against, is that you don't want to be in what is, whatever it is. And the power of starting to try to kind of convince yourself that it's okay to be in what is. The more you do that, the less you will be in suffering, the less you will be trying to sort of change life, and the more you will be in life and let life change you. So it's again the analogy of the river. If you can remember that you're in a river on a canoe or a boat floating down it, And that the river itself, the natural rhythm of the river, is going to show you what's next. And your role as the individual in the boat, in the river, is to just show up in life, is to be in awe, is to trust it more and more, to trust what's happening, is to be afraid when you're afraid, like, holy shit, I'm going down class 5 rapids. Okay, I can do this. I can do this. I can do this. Or a paddleboard or a surfboard, whatever you want to be in. And one more thing I want to say about the feeling state, because I think this is really important. When you have these surges of really intense emotion, you don't want to stay stuck and focused on it. That would be like going down the river, okay? What creates rapids in a river? Rocks, big, huge boulders, okay? So I want you to imagine a big boulder as an emotional state. And I guarantee you the same boulder shows up over and over and over again. In fact, you could look at a river and you could see these big boulders in one area, and then the next, a mile down the road, down the river, there's another boulder, and it looks just like the last boulder. You're like, this looks very similar. A tad bit different, but it has the same feeling state. Holy shit. It's a big fat fucking boulder that's creating class 5 rapids. So it's like sadness comes up, and then sadness comes up again, and then sadness comes up again, or loneliness or grief or whatever it is. I forgot where I was going with this. Oh, and the piece to this is to not grab that boulder and say there's something wrong here. I'm supposed to just feel this. So now I need to grab it and hold it and really focus on it. Just laser beam focus on this. Right? And if I focus on it and grab it, then it's going to dissolve. It's going to go away. The boulder isn't going anywhere when you grab it. Sadness isn't going anywhere if you grab it and try to dissect it and try to make sense of it. Sadness moves through you when you simply allow it to be. You bump up against it. Ow, that hurts. Wow, that's intense. Holy shit, that hurt. Maybe your canoe gets wrapped around it or your kayak gets wrapped around it. But you remember that you're in a river. You're in flow. So your job as the human in the boat, in the canoe, in the paddleboard is to keep paddling, right? So what that means is that you just keep paddling. What's next? I'm going to get up. I'm going to go brush my teeth. I'm going to get in my car. I'm going to go here. You don't focus intently on that emotion and try to change it or fix it. Get rid of it. Figure it out. Where did it come from? Why is it here? It's going to keep showing up. It's going to keep showing up because it needs you to get comfortable with no longer attaching to it because it's not you. So the more that this boulder arises within you, the more opportunities it's giving you to no longer attach to it, grab it. Make it feel like you feel like you have to do something with it. There's something wrong with you. I shouldn't be feeling this. That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard any of us say. I shouldn't be feeling this. Excuse me? That's like saying I shouldn't have hair on my head. Hair's growing. What are you going to do? The emotions are rising. What are you going to do? I shouldn't feel this. I should be feeling this. It's the most like harmful thing we can do to ourselves. And what bothers me so much sometimes that I see is that we are told that there are higher frequency emotions to feel and lower frequency emotions to feel. And that you want to make sure you're feeling higher frequency energies or energies that feel good. I only want to feel what's good. I only want to feel what feels good. You're none of the emotions. You're none of the feelings. You're none of it. So what does it matter? It's not you. It doesn't dictate you. So what we're practicing right now, what I encourage you to practice is that underneath every rapid, underneath every emotional state you're feeling, underneath every thought that you have, there is a calm and a peace no matter what. Just go sit in nature for 5 minutes and you'll realize, holy shit, nothing needs to change in my life and I'm calm right now. I'm peaceful, I'm connected, I'm aligned. And that doesn't need to change. The more that we realize we're not in control, the more we realize we're not in control, the more we are going to find ourselves in peace and calm. And it's going to be counterintuitive because you're going to recognize that you're having all these intense emotions that come and go, these surges of energy. So what? Okay. You can either believe me or not, but just practice it. Practice. What if I knew I wasn't the emotions? What if when the intensity of the emotions come in, I just allow it to move through me? I sit with it until I get up and go do something else. But what if these emotional breakdowns that I'm having, or these intense emotional states that are moving through me, what if it's not that I have issues with this or issues with that, or I have, this attachment style and this thing I have to heal with this person, and all the ways in which we complicate it? What if just it's as simple as showing up and feeling? And doing all the little tools that you may have in your tool book. What do you use? I journal. I emote. I cry. I reach out to friends. I sit in nature like I did today. But what if the fastest way through everything is not to grab a hold of what you're feeling, but to remember that you are just an energetic being in a physical form, moving through a physical world that's experienced through energy, which is emotion, and thought, which is emotion, or which is energy, and you're none of it. You're not emotion, you're not thought. You can't get away from emotion, you can't get away from thought. And in the quantum field, every thought's available and every emotion is available. You're none of it. So when an intense storm comes in, your job is to continue to remember that it is going to feel intense, it's going to knock you down, and it's going to make you believe that you're screwed, that this is you. You're messed up. You're not. You're remembering who you are. Every time you go through a storm, you come out and you start to remember, holy shit, I can get through anything because it's not me. I can go through anything. Because the more that we try to change the thunderstorms as if we have control over nature, this is a natural process you're in. I'm a temporary manifestation of the one eternal spirit. Exactly. This is natural, what you're in. Just like nature. It's a natural process of the physical body shifting frequencies, and the spirit, soul, God, essence, spark, whatever word you want to use, is inside the physical body going through the experience, also energetically connected to everything else in the quantum field, in the energetic field, with the source, with God, with everything. There's a constant connection, but there is an aspect of consciousness of God inside the physical body that is the awareness that is you. No matter what you think or feel or believe, the programming, the ancestral stuff you're trying to clear, none of that matters. Really doesn't. What matters is that you start to remember who you are, and that you're in a river going down the river and through life as life. That's it. And you're evolving. You are learning how to be this essence in physicality, the hardest thing in the world and the greatest thing in the world. And that life is always gifting you. The river is always going to take care of you. You're not going to drown if you just keep floating, if you just keep paddling. It's when you panic that you think you're going to die. It's when you fall into you're not trusting is when you think you're going to drown. Have you ever fallen out of a raft when you go down a river or a kayak or something and you're in rapids? The way that you go through the rapids when you're in the water is that you get on your back and your feet are in front of you and you put your feet up, so your feet are kind of, you don't drag your feet, you kick your feet up and you lay on your back and you float. You float down. That's how you safely get through the rapids. And what does the mind do when it falls out of a raft during the rapids? It panics. And the mind tries to say, holy shit, I can't do this. I'm going to drown. Oh my God, I need to get out of this. The mind thinks that it's in control. And the counterintuitive thing is to do what you need to naturally do to move through, which is get on your back and float through it. But the mind wants to be in control. It freaks out. It's not used to it. It's uncomfortable. It says, holy shit, I got to control this. I got to get myself out of this. No, you don't. Nature moves you through it. Get on your backs, kick your feet up, and trust that life has you. Life's carrying you. Life's got you. It's a whole different way of being. As opposed to, this shouldn't be happening. I shouldn't be in these rapids. I shouldn't have fallen out of a boat. I got to figure all this out, change myself, fix myself. What the hell are you talking about? You're in rapids. Welcome to the world. Welcome to being human. Start practicing floating on your back when you're in the rapids. And you'll come out of the rapids like, whoa, that was an intense moment. Holy shit. Didn't think I was going to survive that one. Wonder what's going to happen around the bend. Am I going to be in the rapids again? If so, at least I'm practicing how to be in the rapids. And the more you try to get out of the rapids when you fall in the rapids, the more efforting in life you're going to be. The more you're going to try to reach out and get people to save you and fix you, right? Throw all your money at all of these different things. Get me out of this. Teach me how to get out of the rapids. I don't want to be in the rapids. Oh, okay, sure. You can do this. Come over here on this side of the river and let's do this and this and this. It's like you do realize that you're going to have to get back in the river and just go down the river, and the river's just going to show you what's next. And a river guide is going to say to you, who's in the boat with you, falling out with you, he or she's going to say, listen, the moment you fall into the rapids, the moment things get real intense, float on your back, and I promise you, let go, surrender into, and you'll find yourself out of it a lot easier. You won't have water in your mouth, water in your nose, panicking, grabbing boulders. The analogy here, my friends, before I go, is trust what you're in. Pay attention to the part of you that's really trying to get out of. Just pay attention to that. Let yourself try to get out of it. Let yourself panic. Well, that's fine. But the more you're aware of it, the more you will realize whatever I'm in right now is intense. But I'm in a river. I am moving through things. I just hit a boulder. This is not going to last. I'm going to show up for it. I'm letting it move through me. These surges are going to come more and more. We're going to find ourselves in class 5 rapids more and more, perhaps. So what? This is life. This is evolution. The body is shifting. The body needs to be able to move any emotion through it. The body has to be able to, it naturally needs to move energy through it. Energy is any interaction you have in the physical world with anything. And when it has that interaction, the body needs to be able to move what is created through that interaction, thought and emotion and behavioral responses. It needs to just move it through. Your job as the awareness, watching everything and being in everything, is to remember that. It's impossible for you to walk through your days and not have emotions and thoughts. And the more you become awake and aware, the more you're going to feel the emotions and the more you're going to hear the thoughts. And the more you do that in the beginning, the more you're going to want to control the emotions and control the thoughts. And when you try to control the emotions and control the thoughts, I guarantee you, you are blocking the natural flow of energy. The natural flow of energy. The body increases its vibrational state and its frequency when energy just moves through it, like the toroidal field. That figure 8 toroidal field, that is the way the body is designed to be. And us trying to control emotions, make ourselves have higher vibrational emotions, higher vibrational thoughts, is simply blocking any thought coming in and blocking any emotion coming in and moving through. You're not thought and you're not emotion. So whatever's coming through, pay attention to it. Recognize the reason you want to change it is because you believe that it's you. If you know it's not you, you won't need to change it. You'll simply just realize it's not you. There's a lot of other available thoughts and emotions that may pop up. Maybe I'll choose one as well at the same time. I'll flip the coin, right? Flip the coin and say, oh, am I really unworthy? Oh, look at that. Interesting thought coming through. Unworthiness. I'm going to let that thought move through me. Whatever. Fuck off. I don't care. I'm going to think of some other thought as well. Oh, what do I desire in life? Oh, okay, there, another thought that moves through me. Sadness comes in. I don't want to feel sadness. I'm going to feel happiness. Okay, well, sadness is coming through. So maybe you just allow sadness to move through you like the energy that it's designed to do. The body needs you to. Okay, I'm going to feel sadness, but I'm also going to keep going in my day. I'm not going to wallow in it. What else is available? What else can I also focus on, right? All right, I gotta go. I have a call. I love you guys. I hope this was useful or beneficial in some tiny way. You're not going crazy. You're evolving into, well, you aren't evolving into higher states of consciousness. Your physical body is. And also, by the way, at 2 p.m. California time, you guys, join me on my YouTube channel because I'm doing a 6-week series where I talk about my book, The Divine Design, and it's a massive awakening or an activation. It activates the remembrance of what you're going through so that you step out of suffering and you step out of victimhood and you start to remember the badass that you are. The absolute badass freaking soul, spirit, consciousness that you are in an intense physical environment right now. Join me 2 p.m. California time today, every Thursday for 6 weeks, but today on my YouTube channel. I love you. Mwah.